Hey everybody, my name is Aaron Shea and welcome to a Habitat Now. I am joined by artist Alex Bernstein, who has had a incredible career, and we are honored to feature his work at the upcoming Glass Art Fair down in Sarasota. It's going to be an incredible experience. Many of you are coming for the Glass Coast Weekend, which is our VIP event, and I have a special Q&A for our friend Alex Bernstein, and he'll have a good presentation down at the show, and I highly recommend you come and see it. Admission is free. Bring your friends. It's January 9th through 12th at the Sarasota Ringling College of Art at the Ringling College of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida. So plan on being there. Alex, thank you for joining me today, man. Say hi.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I hope there's no trick questions here, so I'm prepared for anything.
That's great. These are great questions to learn a little more about your career and what's going on down in Sarasota. And it's gonna be an honor to have you down there. So thanks, man, for doing this with me today. Let me get my questions ready to go. Here we go. So first question. So your work is celebrated for its intricate designs and coloring. What drew you to the glass as an art medium, and how has your relationship with the medium evolved over time?
Well, I think more of the question is why did I try to stay away from glass for so long? Both my parents are glass artists, William and Catherine Bernstein, so I pretty much literally grew up in a glass studio and kind of was raised in the studio glass movement of the United States all my life. And you kind of, as a kid, you go through these rebellious stages, and I was like, I don't want to like be like my parents. So glass is kind of all I knew all my life. Think I have a picture of me at age 7, um, like flame working. And then I know that I have like a little glass that I blew at my dad's shop when I was 5 or 6 or something like that as well. So when I say I've been doing it all my life, quite literally, I have. And so, maybe high school, college, I was like, I want to do my own thing. I'm going to not do what my parents did. And so I studied psychology. I worked in a psychiatric hospital with children for 3 years. I did quite a few other things, just kind of looking around at the world and seeing what else I might be interested in. But glass just kept pulling me back. And I remember pretty vividly working at the hospital. I was working second shift, so it was like 3 in the afternoon to 11 o'clock at night. But I was also blowing glass at a local glass studio in the morning. So I wake up at like 6 a.m., go to the glass studio, work half the day or most of the day, then go home, shower, go to the hospital. And when I started doing my own artwork at this glass studio, so I was working for somebody else, but they would give me free time to blow glass. And so when it was my day to blow glass, I would lay in bed and not be able to sleep. I would literally be too excited to go to the studio the next day to be able to sleep well at that evening. And so I was like, I want to do something that I can't. I'm so excited that I can't sleep. Like that's the kind of job I want. At the same kind of time, I was looking at graduate school for PhD in clinical psychology, but like I said, that the glass just kept drawing me back.
Gotcha. That's kind of like the old family curse.
Yeah,
You're being
exactly.
pulled in, and because you became an expert on it early on, and then you
Yep.
became so talented in it. So I'm glad you did that, man. Um, So your art explores themes of light and texture and forms, and now the newer work has lots of refraction in it. How do you approach the conceptualization of a new piece, and how does it play into your creative process?
Well, my creative process, I really feel lucky that I don't have any shortage of ideas. And I think a lot of it is, I mean, I do abstract work, and a lot of the work comes from kind of like memories and dreams, and it kind of just flows through me. I don't set up and say, oh, I have a concept about blah, 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 and then I'm going to make the piece. I think mine come kind of more holistically through me. I think of themes of like plant life, of geodes and stones, of things that come from the earth, and then I just kind of let it flow. And my ideas again flow from just physically working. And that may be, and with the optical work, I've always been interested in the optics of glass. It's something people have explored. I think I read about Leonardo da Vinci. I read his biography, and he was making these lenses, polishing glass to make lenses to actually solder and weld. And so people have looked at the optics of glass for, hundreds of years. And I was kind of exploring that. And very literally, I would grind something and go, wow, look at that. What if I did this? What if I did that? Oh, now it's looking like a cave. It looks like a geode. It looks like something from the earth that you could walk through. So my concepts kind of come that way. Like as I'm working, things tend to look like or feel like a certain concept or idea.
Makes a lot of sense. Great. Next question going here.
Okay.
Um, Many artists speak of a moment or project that defined their career. Do you have a particular experience or exhibition that propelled you to what you were doing today?
I mean, I'm preparing for a solo museum show in Germany, in Hamburg, in March, which, feels like a milestone. I'm also having a solo show at the Imagine Museum in St. Pete, Florida. So that feels like this is, I mean, I kind of feel like I'm mid-career. Graduate school was just under 25 years ago. So I kind of still feel young at heart, but I was like, wow, I've been at this for a while. I still kind of feel like it's mid-career. I also had a large commission for a children's mental health facility in Norfolk, Virginia, and it's right in the lobby of this children's hospital. And like I was telling you previously, I worked at a psychiatric hospital with children, and so I made this piece. It's called Crystal Gardens, and it's these crystal pieces, these groupings that I was making. And throughout history, crystals have been known to have a healing power. And so I thought, as soon as I was approached about this project, I thought, well, that's a good idea in a mental health facility, having these healing crystals, whether you believe it or not, they're also, you can get lost in the optics of
Mhm.
them and the beauty and the color of them. I thought it was really fitting. So, kind of full circle since undergrad, working with kids and working in a psychiatric hospital for children. And now here I am installing art that hopefully is meaningful. And even just in the time where I was installing, I was there, I think, for 3, maybe 4 days. And the museum, excuse me, the hospital was already open. So there was still people coming and they'd say, hey, what are you doing? And the installation was mostly finished. There were some final things, and I had at least 2 or 3 different, um, not patients, but families of the patients. And I remember this particular mother who said her teenage daughter was inpatient in the hospital and that she had come down and looked at my installation at least 3 or 4 different times and she would just sit with it. And she said it was so soothing and it felt so healing, and she could just not have to worry about the day to day, not have to worry about her daughter as much. And she would get lost in these kind of the energy that glass has, how they kind of glow and sparkle. And having that and having these conversations with only the few people that I did, because I, wasn't there that long, felt like, wow, I'm making something that's meaningful. And here's a significant piece. So that's definitely one on in the books as well. That was kind of career changing, or it feels like a milestone for sure.
Yeah, it's an incredible story, man. I think more
Thank you.
institutions need artwork like yours, if not yours, to have that kind of feeling for people who are going through hard and terrible situations. So
Yeah,
it's amazing.
there are. I have a piece at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota as well, and I know they have an art program, and I think it's well studied and understood that having artwork can help patients and people. And so, yeah,
Attitudes.
I agree. It was wonderful to be part of that project, and I've been in a few more hospitals, and I look forward to doing more. Making art that's meaningful to people, and especially people that are struggling, is very meaningful.
Great, man. It kind of segues to the next question. I'm going to change it up a bit. So, being an artist and having a family, right? There's a lot of responsibility on both ends. How do you handle life in general?
Not well. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I mean, I do the best I can, just like everyone, to kind of manage things. My son Max is in school, so when he's in school, I drop him off every morning to school, and then I go directly to work. Jessica, my wife, will pick him up, so I have a pretty good time, 8:30 till around 5:30 or 6 when he gets back. That he's taken care of. He's also living with a disability. He's not able to walk, and he's in a wheelchair, and has more medical needs than typical children. So there are definitely a lot of doctor's appointments and things like that. And I feel really, really lucky that I'm self-employed and I can be flexible to go to the appointments and things he needs. I Probably would never leave my studio if it wasn't for having Jessica, my loving wife that I look forward to coming home to, and Max, my awesome son. Because when I'm working, it doesn't feel like work. It's what I want to do. I love making things with my hands, and I love being at my studio. It's, Saturday, and I think when we talked earlier, it's like, well, I'm at my studio now, but I can come home for a little while for
Mhm.
to talk to you. And it's kind of what I like to do. I would also say that I have people that work for me and help me. So I have currently 3 or 4 different people that are all part-time. And so managing people to help, I feel lucky to be in a good place where there's certain jobs that are laborious and time consuming that are basically manual labor, but it takes a long time. And feel lucky that I'm in a place where I can say, hey, can can you get that done? And then I'll come in and create it. I can't teach anyone how to create my work. So all the creative side, it's all by hand, subtractive sculpting. I'm cutting and I'm carving. So I all do that. I can't teach somebody how to do that, but the sandblasting and the polishing and things
Mhm.
like that, I feel really lucky. And that's helped me manage my life where I have time for hopefully everything.
That's great, man. It means you can be more productive and spend time
Yep.
where you want to really spend. Okay, so let's talk about the upcoming Glass Art Fair. Tell me about the work you're exhibiting. I know there's a variety of styles and bodies of work, and what do you think your contribution fits with this diverse showcase of this Florida show? I know you've been there before, so you know what it's like.
Yeah, it's can't think of how many years, but I think I've been to almost all of them. Yeah. As I think Corey said a couple weeks ago on the phone that I'm like 7 artists in one because I have so many different styles of work. Exploration of a new idea is really what drives my passion, and I'm really passionate about what I do. As I was just saying, I love what I do. And trying to find something new, something interesting, something exciting is what fuels my fire. And so if I was just gonna make another one of these and another one of those, and maybe I'll make a blue one of these and maybe a bigger one of this, I get really bored. So I like to explore and look for new series and new ideas. So at this show specifically, I will have some of kind of what I feel like I'm a little bit better known for, kind of some of these circles again that look like geodes, and they definitely have an earthy feeling, some with my Bernsteining or fused steel. So it's gonna be a mix of that. And then I'm also gonna have these crystal groupings, like I was telling you about in the hospital. So kind of some different versions of these groupings. I really like how they interact in space when you have multiple pieces all put together, and it almost makes actually not almost, it makes a landscape. And whether it looks like a cityscape or it looks like mountains, I really like how the pieces interact. As well as that, so I think kind of 3 different styles. I'm also showing some of the optical work that I had been talking about again previously, where it might look like a little natural cave that you can crawl into, or I'm going to have this kind of cubed one that almost looks like it's spinning as you walk around it. These optical work, as I've discovered and explored them, again, I said, like, Leonardo da Vinci was exploring optics of glass for, it's all something that people know about, prism shapes, and there's these different effects, these mirror effects that these natural crystals do, and trying to do my own spin on these effects has led me literally to make pieces where I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
look at that. And
Well,
to have work where I can still say, wow, look at that. And I'm talking just like I'm not trying to say it's my talent. I'm not trying to be bragging about that, but it's the optics of the glass
yeah.
that they still do these effects where there's rainbows shooting through here. I had no idea that would do that. And well, I grind it the angle this way, and now all of a sudden it's reflecting this other side. And the optics of glass mixing with my style is it's going to be there as well, and it's still something I'm really excited about.
And it's the fact you get excited about it, it's everybody else excited about it. I've noticed you have quite a presence on social media. And when you get excited about something, you put it out there, whether it's process or it's a finished piece or in process. How's the reception been on that kind of feedback?
I think it's been great. There's pros and cons of social media for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
anybody that has a kid knows that it can be addictive, and you're like, "Give me my phone back." No, no, I want the phone. So I do think there are some negative things about social media, but there's also some wonderful things. I think I have 180,000 followers on Instagram, and I've had videos that have 20, 30 million views. And so to know that, 30 million people have seen this
Hmm.
sculpture I've made, and it makes the world very small because it's people from Brazil, it's
Hmm.
people from uh, tons of people in Germany, and you name it. It's people
Right.
from everywhere, and so it all of a sudden makes the world really small. Where I used to feel like I was in my studio working and nobody saw what I was doing, unless I was like would print a postcard and send them to people, or had an ad in a magazine. And I remember at one point I had an ad in American Craft, and there were 40,000 subscribers at that time or whatever. I can't remember exactly what their subscription rate was. And I said, well, okay, 40,000 people, that's amazing. Like, I can't believe they're going to see this ad. And now to be able to post a video
Hmm.
and have 20 million people see it
Right.
is pretty wild. And it also gives me a lot of back and forth and communication with people. And I was in academics for many years and kind of had to retire from that when my career was really taking off. And this gives me a little more time to explain what I'm doing. Actually, just this morning, I posted a video where I tried to do voiceover and tell people what I was doing. I like to be an educator and I like to explain what I do. And having the social media, having people, again, from all over the world asking questions, I really love to say, oh, yeah, I got my grinder at his glassworks. You
Mhm.
can get them here. I so many times have sent people to different places, and it's really fun to be able to have that much contact with people and to communicate. I feel like I have a huge community now.
Great, man.
Yeah.
So you've had an extraordinary year in 2024, and at the end of the year, some record-breaking sales and some significant recognition. What do you think resonates most with collectors and audiences this year, and how do you reflect on the success?
I mean, I would have to say that I have no idea. I don't know. I not to get too spiritual, but I feel like maybe the world works in kind of interesting spiritual ways. We suffered a horrific hurricane here in Asheville, North Carolina. In fact, my parents lived with Jessica and I for almost 2 months. Thankfully, my studio was fine, but we were kind of locked in our house for 5 days. We couldn't leave. There was probably 50 to 100 trees down on the road that led to our house. So it was real survival skills kind of, and it felt like, wow, that's the closest to like, I'm not, I mean, I felt pretty confident we were going to make it through, but it, I hadn't heard from my parents in like 2 weeks before they got service. So it was definitely a scary time, but also in that kind of yin and yang of life, for whatever reason, I was contacted. Oh, this museum decided to purchase this piece. This other
Mhm.
museum decided to purchase this piece. And then I just feel really grateful and lucky. I had this my work at Art Miami, and for whatever reason, it was basically they sold everything and had to go back to the gallery to pick out more work, and I don't really know why. And at the same time, other galleries say, "Oh, we just sold these two pieces. We just sold this." I feel super lucky and grateful. I don't know how it works. I think that people do enjoy that I explore new series, and some of the purchases, not all, were from collectors that have been following my career. And maybe they had, a circle, a colorful circle, and then they see that, and then they go, "Wow, good for you! Look at this optical stuff. Well, we have to
Mhm.
get one of these." Like, so I know that people, in fact, I heard from some client like, we went to Art Miami, we had to pick up this optical piece. We have a colorful piece of yours, and we're so excited about this new direction. And
Great.
I don't feel like it's people feel like they have to, but they like the exploring and new ideas, and they like to support that. And again, I feel super grateful and lucky, but it has been a really good year. I just met with my accountant early October, and I said, well, the next 2 months are probably going to be pretty slow. And so I'm kind of like tightening the budget down, and then for whatever reason, like I said, you go through a hard time, and then all of a sudden good things happen, and then all the success. I feel super lucky to have people that love my work enough to want to bring it home with them. So
That,
it's a real honor.
that's incredible, man. So to wrap up this interview, I always ask people one-on questions in these one-to-ones, and what is that something that nobody knows about you?
Wow.
If you could
I
think
don't know.
about it for a second, I'll talk. And I heard some crazy ones in my day, so worry
Yeah.
not. No real answer here. No pressure.
No, I was gonna say that I'm a super good dancer.
Like to see
Actually,
that
that's
sometime.
not true at all. I'm horrible. I have no rhythm. But let's just stick with that.
Sounds good, man.
Honestly, I am a pretty empathetic, what do you call it? Sensitive man, and I also tend to put everything out there. So I feel like there's probably not a whole lot that people don't know. Some people don't like to share a lot. I'm probably more on the side of I like to kind of share things. So there's probably not a whole lot out there that people don't know about me.
That's a perfect answer, my friend. You're an open book, and people like that about you, which is always great. And it's always great to talk to you with the shows too, because you talk about whatever people want to talk about. There's nothing off the table about your work, career, and life, which is awesome, man. So thank you again for doing this one-on-one. I'm gonna put some available work that is going to be on display at the Glass Coast weekend after this presentation. So feel free to take a look at the images. If you have any questions, contact me here at Habatat, aaron@habatat.com. We're going to be down at the Glass Art Fair down in Sarasota. Alex will be there, right, Alex?
I'm gonna be there. Yep.
Which is going to be exciting. And if you have any ideas for projects for Alex, I'd love to connect you directly with him. He's an incredible visionary and he loves working with people. So thank you again, Alex, for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you down in Sarasota early January.
Thanks for having me. See you
All
soon.
right. See you soon.